When my newly bought dress showed up on Chloe again, I couldn't control my temper and called Marcus. It's either your sister or me living in this house. Who do you choose? Grace, are you insane? Chloe is my sister. You're even jealous of her. I took a deep breath, my chest tight with frustration. Don't use sister as an excuse. She's not even your biological sibling. If you won't make her leave, then I will. I'll get out of your sight. Marcus's furious voice boomed from the other end of the line. Grace, don't be so ridiculous. Chloe and I have a pure relationship. You don't have to like her, but you can't spread rumors about her. Don't throw a tantrum with me. I'm not falling for it. If you want to leave, then leave. I won't stop you. With that, the person on the other end hung up. Listening to the dial tone, I froze for a few seconds, then couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. All these years, I'd been nothing but a joke. I thought marrying Marcus was the best decision of my life. But I never imagined it would be the start of my nightmare. In that case, I want nothing anymore. I quickly packed a few things and left. Before getting into the car, I made a call. Mom and Dad, I regret it. I want to come home. Henry was silent for a long time on the other end, then asked in a low voice, did that Marcus boy bully you? I told you long ago that you'd regret it someday. Where are you? I'll send someone to pick you up right now. After hanging up, I couldn't stop the tears from streaming down my face. I deeply regretted falling out with Mom and Dad for Marcus. Back home, Mom and Dad didn't say a word, just held me and cried. I had to pull myself together to comfort them. Henry's eyes were red. Since you're back, don't work at the Cheen family company anymore. Come back and take over the family business. My nose stung, and I nodded. The next morning, I went to the HR department to resign. It's funny, I'd been married to Marcus for 3 years, working as a junior employee at his company, and not a single person knew about our relationship. Just as HR was about to accept my resignation, Chloe walked in and snatched the letter away. Why are you resigning out of the blue? Your family isn't well off. How will you live after you quit? I'm doing this for your own good. We're classmates, after all. I don't want to see you jobless, penniless, and out on the streets. Back in school, you almost went down the wrong path, didn't you? Chloe said, then quickly clapped a hand over her mouth. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to blurt that out. Watching her feigned act, I surprisingly felt a sense of calm. She was still wearing the new dress I had bought just 2 days ago. This wasn't her first time provoking me. I'd argued and gotten angry before, but now I just felt exhausted, with no desire to fight. My business is none of your concern. I coolly tried to retrieve my resignation letter. Chloe quickly stepped back 2 paces and, in a few swift motions, tore the resignation letter to shreds. Are you still angry? No matter how upset you are, you shouldn't jeopardize your future out of spite. After saying that, she told the HR manager to leave. Chloe was Marcus's sister. Everyone in the company knew it, so the HR manager didn't ask further questions and quickly exited the office. Once we were alone, Chloe's expression suddenly changed, and she asked me, Grace, don't you think my dress is pretty? Yesterday I accidentally got my own clothes dirty, so Marcus gave me this dress to wear. He said it looks even better on me than it does on you. Grace, you see? I'm still the most important person in Marcus's heart, even though you two are married. With no outsiders present, Chloe naturally dropped her pretense. She looked at me with disdain, a hint of provocation in her hazy gaze. Are you upset? If you get down on your knees and beg me, I might consider giving you the dress back. For a moment, I was dazed, unable to tell if she w. as talking about the dress or me. I suddenly remembered that when Marcus and I got married, not only did Mom and Dad object, Chloe also made a fuss for a long time. She threatened to commit suicide while also showing how much she hated me. Even though she was just the Cheen family's adopted daughter, she and Marcus had grown up together. Mrs. Victoria intensely disliked me because of this, believing I must have secretly bullied Chloe, which made Chloe so resistant to me. Before, I always thought Chloe simply couldn't accept that her closest brother was suddenly getting an even closer person. Like a child's possessiveness, that's why she made a fuss. But after experiencing disappointment after disappointment, I suddenly seemed to understand. The bond between them wasn't as innocent as I had imagined. I let out a cold laugh. Since I had already decided to divorce Marcus, there was no need for me to cautiously flatter his family. No thanks. I don't want something someone else has used. Besides, this dress isn't yours, and Marcus won't be yours either. Chapter 2. Marcus and I had been married for years, but the only person who had initially supported our marriage was Mr. William. I originally thought Mr. William genuinely liked me as a daughter-in-law, but later I found out the truth. He had sensed an inappropriate relationship developing between his adopted daughter and his biological son, a scandal for a prominent family like theirs. So when he learned of my crush on Marcus, he quickly finalized our marriage, forcing Marcus to marry me, all to make Chloe give up. Chloe's face twisted ugly as she glared at me, her eyes filled with venom. How dare you say that? If you hadn't interfered, my brother and I wouldn't have been unable to live properly together all these years. You want to resign, to retreat in order to advance, hoping my brother will chase after you, right? I see right through your schemes. With that, she suddenly lunged forward, grabbing my arm tightly. You, a person with no family background, if you lose this good job, are you planning to end up out on the streets, hoping my brother will pity you? Listening to her illogical rambling, I felt a deep weariness. Let go of me. Feeling her nails dig into my flesh, I instinctively shook her off. Chloe stumbled and fell to the floor. Just then, the manager's voice greeting Marcus echoed from outside the door. Chloe's expression instantly changed. Then, right in front of me, she quickly tore at her clothes and hair, looking completely disheveled within a few breaths. Grace, I truly know I was wrong. I promise I won't touch your things again. It's just that I accidentally got my clothes dirty while cooking that day, so I borrowed yours to wear temporarily. How could you accuse me like that? No matter what, he's my brother. How can you even suspect that my brother and I have an inappropriate relationship? Grace, if these words get out, how will I ever live again? I can pay for these clothes. Please don't tear my clothes anymore, don't strip me naked. I watched her self-orchestrated drama in stunned silence. Soon, rapid footsteps approached, and the door was violently pushed open. Marcus took in the scene, and without a word, forcefully pushed me aside. He walked over and helped Chloe up, his face full of tender concern. Chloe, are you all right? Your brother's here, no one will bully you. Then he turned to me, his eyes filled with disappointment. Grace, when did you become so vicious and disgusting? When we got married, you seemed so understanding. I never thought it was all a facade. It's just a dress, why do you have to make such a scene? He took a deep breath, seemingly trying to suppress his anger. I admit, Chloe is wearing your new dress, and I shouldn't have given it to her without your permission. But it was a special circumstance at the time. Besides, it's just a dress. If you want it, I can buy you another one. His words made my breathing quick. After all these years of marriage, he called me vicious and disgusting. If it truly were as he said, I wouldn't be angry, but this had happened time and time again. Anything his sister fancied, whether it was something in the house or something of mine, would eventually end up in her hands. Marcus, I've told you before, if your sister is the most important person in your heart, then I'll make room for you too. Let you two siblings love each other dearly. Let's get a divorce. I'll have my lawyer send you the divorce papers as soon as possible. I had expected to feel heartbroken when I said those words, but at that moment, I found I couldn't shed a single tear. When sadness reaches a certain point, you truly can't cry anymore. The first time Marcus gave me a pet, his sister saw it and insisted she wanted to keep it. She went to great lengths to take the pet from me, but after 2 days, she told me it had died and even brought its body to show off in front of me. After that, whether it was a birthday gift from mom and dad or a wedding anniversary gift from Marcus, as long as Chloe liked it, Marcus would always find some excuse to take the gift back and give it to her. What I heard most often was, Chloe is just having childish tantrums. She's my sister, which makes her practically your sister too. Do you really have to be so petty with family? It's just a gift, what's the big deal about giving it to her? At first, though I felt wronged, I said nothing. Later, I couldn't help but argue, but now I didn't even have the energy for a normal fight. Marcus's expression flickered with hesitation for a moment. He asked back in disbelief. You want to divorce me just because of a dress? Yes. Chapter 3. Our argument in the room was so loud, and Marcus hadn't closed the door when he came in. Everyone outside had a clear view of the situation inside, and the whispers among my colleagues grew louder. So she's actually married to Marcus? I always thought she was just a regular employee here. Seriously, if she's the boss's wife, why does she get no special treatment? And why was it kept a secret? Can't you see? The boss's wife is just a trophy. She's not important to the boss at all, otherwise, she wouldn't be stuck as a lowly employee. Honestly, some women are so incredibly jealous. Even sister isn't off limits. To divorce over a dress? Marrying a woman like that is like bringing home a tyrant. Marcus is really unlucky. But no matter what, a wife can't be more important than family. There's a blood relation there, after all. The surrounding chatter grew louder. Chloe suddenly walked forward and knelt before me, kowtowing repeatedly. Grace, I know this is all my fault. Please, don't divorce my brother. If you divorce him because of this, he'll definitely blame me. And since you love my brother so much, don't throw a tantrum now. You've had a crush on him for so many years, how can you just split up like this? As she spoke, she suddenly gasped, as if realizing something, then began to speak, her tears turning into a smile. I know, Grace, you definitely just want my brother to comfort you, right? After saying that, she turned and tugged Marcus's arm. Her forehead still bore a bruise, yet she was now feigning the role of an understanding sister. Brother, Grace is just throwing a tantrum for a moment. Just comfort her, and everything will be fine. This is all my fault. I should have just worn my dirty clothes. I didn't realize Grace disliked me so much. So please, hurry and comfort Grace. If you two really get divorced, I'll feel incredibly guilty. The more she acted submissive and understanding, the more Marcus's heart ached for her. Right in front of me, he pulled Chloe to her feet, his eyes red, his voice trembling. Even if I get divorced, it won't be your fault. You're my only sister, how could you think that? Some people bring trouble upon themselves. Let her stew in it. I won't humor her. Grace, I used tea. Oh, forgive you when you threw tantrums, but Chloe is my family. I won't allow you to treat her like this. If you apologize now, I might still forgive you. Watching their deep sibling bond, I couldn't help but laugh. They clearly had feelings that went beyond a sibling relationship, yet they still tried to appear proper and conventional, mindful of public opinion. It was truly a shame Chloe wasn't an actress. I said I want a divorce. Did you hear me clearly this time? I spoke again, my tone utterly resolute. Marcus's face darkened considerably, and his gaze was sharp and piercing as he looked at me. Fine. You said this yourself. No one is forcing you to divorce. Even if you regret it later and beg me, I won't remarry you. I didn't say another word, just turned and walked away. Chapter 4. After returning home, I contacted my lawyer and had a divorce agreement sent to Marcus. Initially, Mom and Dad didn't approve of Marcus and me, and I fell out with my family over him, so Marcus had no idea about my family's circumstances. My family was also considered a prominent family in our circles, no worse than the Chin family. That's why, with this divorce agreement, I chose to leave with nothing. Anyway, I didn't care for the Chin family's money. I considered all those years of emotional investment wasted. Henry was worried I'd dwell on the past, feeling sad and heartbroken, so he arranged for me to start as a manager at the company first thing the next morning. Uncle, the driver, dropped me off at the company. The moment I stepped out of the car, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. Grace, no wonder you're willing to leave with nothing just to divorce my brother. Turns out you found someone else. Chloe deliberately raised her voice, making everyone around turn to look. She feigned concern, her brows furrowed as she tried to persuade me. Grace, when you married my brother, you yourself said you loved him for who he was, not for our family's money. Everyone in the family thought you were a very proud person, so we never gave you much in terms of living expenses all these years. But I never imagined that this time, after divorcing my brother over a dress, you'd immediately go find someone so much older. What you're doing is truly disappointing. You're actually selling yourself for money. From the moment I got out of the car, I hadn't said a word, but she had already thrown a lot of dirt on my name. And every word she said was manipulative, downplaying the important parts while pinning me with the label of a cheater. At that moment, Marcus rushed over and grabbed my arm. Come back with me. No matter what, you shouldn't degrade yourself like this. I forcefully shook off his hand, utterly bewildered. By what right do you presume to control me? Marcus's ears were bright red, and it took him a long time to blurt out a reply. Even though we've signed the divorce agreement, there's still a month-long mandatory waiting period for divorce. Until that time is up, I am still your legal husband. After all these years of marriage, I can't stand by and watch you go astray. Come back with me now, and I can still forgive you. I looked at Marcus, then at Chloe beside him. Chloe's eyes were full of defensiveness. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Since you're trying to control me as my husband, then I'll ask you again, if only one person, either your sister or I, can stay in the villa, who do you choose? Marcus angrily yelled at me. Can you stop being so unreasonable? Chloe is my sister. Why are you always so suspicious? What could possibly be going on between us? At the same time, Chloe started wiping away tears, her words filled with feigned grievances. Grace, my brother, and I have lived together for decades. If there really was anything between us, why would he have married you? Besides, we're siblings. I know you've always enjoyed pitting women against each other, but I never thought you'd become so obsessed. Chloe's Words carried clear insinuations, and the people around us couldn't help but exclaim, "This woman is truly disgusting." To pit herself against her own husband's sister. I've even seen people compete with their own daughters before. Those people are insane. Everyone was condemning me, believing I was mentally ill. Some even began to comfort Chloe at this point. "This has nothing to do with you. It's your sister-in-law who's out of line. Don't take her words to heart. If you ask me, you should be tougher. Your family, you should stick together. If we had known this would happen, you should have never let your sister-in-law into the house." I've seen some shameless people before, who after getting married, not only kick their sister-in-law out but also try to seize all the family's assets. The one who dropped her off earlier was an old man, driving a luxury car. I bet she's just greedy for money. Why don't women like you just die? Chapter 5. The voices of accusation around me grew louder, and I found myself surrounded by the crowd. Some even started reaching out, pushing and shoving me. Their emotions became increasingly agitated, and I didn't know who threw the first punch. When one person started hitting me, others joined in the fray. My hair was tightly gripped, and my ears buzzed. I never expected to encounter something like this just by coming to work at the company. I hadn't had time to contact the company's security guards in advance, leaving me completely vulnerable. Chloe shouted loudly from outside the crowd, "Stop hitting Grace. This is all my fault. I shouldn't have kept in contact with my brother after he got married. If my brother and I hadn't spoken, Grace wouldn't have been jealous or misunderstood. She wasn't pleading for me, she was piling accusations on me." It wasn't until the company's security guards couldn't stand it anymore that they rushed over and drove everyone away. My cheeks were swollen and red, and my body was covered in bloody marks. Beaten without cause, my anger had reached a boiling point. Without a word, I pulled out my phone and dialed the police. "Hello, I want to report an assault. I've been physically attacked." Hearing me call the police, those who had assaulted me now looked guilty. This woman did something shameless herself, and she still has the nerve to call the police. She slandered her sister-in-law and was involved with another old man while married. We just couldn't stand it anymore and did what was right. But she's already called the police. They won't actually arrest us, will they? I pulled out my phone and took pictures of everyone present. Chloe frowned, trying to snatch my phone, but luckily I anticipated it and dodged her. Failing to get the phone, she immediately changed her demeanor, her brow furrowed. "Grace, this is all my fault. It's just a small matter, please don't call the police." They were just indignant and felt that what you did was too outrageous, which is why they lashed out. "If you're still angry, then just hit me. Don't implicate other innocent people because of me." Slap. The moment she finished speaking, I didn't hold back and slapped her directly. The sharp sound caught everyone off guard. "Since you've said so, I'll grant your kind request. I won't involve others, I'll just hit you." As I spoke, I raised my hand and landed several more hard slaps across her cheek. The rage in my heart finally erupted at that moment. Chloe had tormented me countless times behind my back, and I had swallowed those bitter pills before. And her feigned innocence, those words she'd spoken in front of me, had made my stomach churn. Now, I finally got it all out. "Chloe, you brought this upon yourself, so don't blame anyone else. You keep saying you and Marcus are siblings, but in reality, you're not even biological siblings. What innocent siblings in their 20s still sometimes share a bed? Who messages their brother during a thunderstorm, saying they're scared and want him to sleep with them? Anything I had, anything Marcus gave me, you always had to snatch away. No wonder no one wanted to marry into your brother's family back then. Your father quickly arranged our engagement when he found out I had a crush on your brother. You, your brother, and your entire Chin family are utterly disgusting." The surrounding crowd gasped in shock, seemingly unaware of such a hidden secret. Oh my God! No wonder this woman wants a divorce. So, the siblings really do have an inappropriate relationship, and they're not even blood related. Oh no, we seem to have made a mistake. We hit an innocent person. That sister is truly disgusting. During thunder and rain, she still wants her brother to sleep with her? She's not a child anymore. She's a grown woman, can't she find a boyfriend herself? Why does she always run to her brother for everything, with no boundaries whatsoever? That's truly sickening. No, it's not like that. Noticing the change in the crowd's perception, Chloe immediately grew anxious and quickly began to explain. "Don't listen to her nonsense. Enough." Marcus walked over, his face dark, and immediately shielded Chloe in his arms. He reached out, grabbed my wrist, and tightened his grip forcefully. "Apologize to Chloe. You're completely out of line. How dare you incite these people to defame her? Chloe is just childish." I merely spent a little extra time with her during a thunderstorm and neglected you for a moment. Do you have to make such a big deal out of something like that? He was quick to downplay the severity, trying to normalize the situation with a few words. I struggled forcefully, but Marcus's grip only tightened. A sharp pain shot through my wrist, and though my lips turned pale from the agony, I refused to utter a single plea for mercy. Thankfully, the police arrived at that moment. After questioning everyone about what had happened, they immediately began reviewing the surveillance footage. Because of the severe impact of the public disturbance, everyone who had assaulted me during the chaos was taken away. Chloe glared at me intently, lowering her voice as she spoke. Grace, are you happy now that you've caused such a huge scene and shamed the entire Chin family? I didn't say a word, just turned and headed towards the company. But, like a persistent fly, wouldn't leave me alone. Grace, you say you're not throwing a tantrum? You know Marcus is supposed to sign a contract with Yun's new manager today, so you deliberately caused this huge scene here. I can understand your feelings, but your actions have brought shame upon the entire Chin family. You're utterly outrageous. Chapter 6. I hadn't realized Marcus actually had a partnership with my family's company. I sent a message to Henry, asking what was going on. Henry quickly replied. Reading the message, I felt an even deeper regret. It turned out that while I was unaware, Henry had done so much for me. All these years, even though Henry was angry, whenever he had a business opportunity, he still prioritized Marcus. No wonder after I married him, Marcus thrived at his company, quickly securing several major deals and taking the company to the next level. It was Henry, for my sake, who had quietly channeled benefits Marcus's way. He feared I would live a difficult life with Marcus. Thinking of this, I took a deep breath. After sending a reply, I turned and told Marcus. The renewal contract for the new quarter doesn't need to be signed. My company will not choose to continue our partnership with you. Before, Henry had given you special treatment out of consideration for me. From today forward, our two families are enemies. Just now, when so many people were assaulting me, Marcus didn't step forward to say a good word for me, nor did he try to stop them. I merely slapped his sister a few times, and he instantly became terribly distressed. Only now did I realize that all these years of my affection had been misplaced. Chloe froze for a moment. After she collected herself, she spoke with a hint of displeasure. Do you really think you're Yun's young heiress? You and Dad are just ordinary people. When you married my brother, you didn't even have a dowry. And now you dare to pretend to be Yun's heiress? I never thought you'd become so vain. Marcus's eyes also showed disappointment, and he let out a deep sigh. Grace, I hope you'll stop making a scene. When you married me, you said your mom and dad were just ordinary people. I used to think that even though you didn't have a superior background, you were honest. I never thought it was all an act. You're actually a vain and intensely jealous person. I couldn't be bothered to argue with them further. With one phone call, I summoned the project manager downstairs. In front of everyone, I announced that I would no longer continue the partnership with the Chin family. After settling matters at the company, I took a taxi directly to the hospital. I had originally planned to keep it from Mom and Dad. However, someone had filmed what happened at the company entrance and uploaded it online. As the story gained traction, it was impossible to hide it from Mom and Dad. Henry came to the hospital to see me, still full of concern, and Margaret held me, crying for a long time. Both and Dad were very supportive of my decision when they heard I no longer wished to work with the Chin family. Don't worry, daughter. This isn't over. What kind of family is the Chin family anyway? They're just nouveau riche who've only recently made their fortune. Later, I'll have your father call his old friends and let the Chin family know what they're up against. Chloe tried to turn the tables and ruin my reputation, but in the end, she would suffer the consequences of her own actions. Over the next 2 weeks, I dedicated myself entirely to work at the company, although I didn't deliberately inquire about the Chin family's affairs. I still caught wind that the Chin family had lost many clients recently. If things continued like this, their company might not be able to stay afloat. Until suddenly, while shopping, Margaret was struck by a falling object and hospitalized. Chapter 7. When I heard the news, I completely panicked. By the time I rushed to the hospital, Marcus and Mr. William were already there. Mrs. Victoria, Marcus's mother, had never been kind to me. For years, she had always found fault with me, believing I lacked family background and couldn't help her son. But today, the moment she saw me, she flashed a smile and warmly took my arm. My dear child, you've lost so much weight since I last saw you. When are you coming home? Mom will cook you something delicious. Hearing this, I felt absolutely nothing. I remembered when I first got married and called Mrs. Victoria Mom for the first time. My kind mother-in-law's face immediately darkened when she heard my address. I only have one daughter. You don't need to call me Mom, I'm just your mother-in-law. To be honest, if my husband hadn't insisted on your marriage, I would never have allowed you to step foot in my house. Mrs. Victoria's words echoed in my ears even after all these years. I still remembered her expression and tone perfectly. I coldly pulled my hand away and calmly stated, Marcus and I have already signed the divorce agreement and filed for divorce. In 2 weeks, we'll be completely unrelated. Mrs. Victoria, there's no need for you to be so polite to me. Mrs. Victoria's expression instantly stiffened, and she stood there awkwardly for a long time. I've already heard about your divorce. It's all just a minor misunderstanding, really. Chloe is our adopted daughter, and she and Marcus grew up together. It's only natural for their bond to be close after so many years. I'm not saying this to criticize you, but you're truly being overly suspicious. To even suspect there's something inappropriate between them, if words like that get out, it'll bring shame upon our family. Ultimately, it's my foolish son's fault for not appeasing you. I've already had a word with him about it. After you visit your mother, come home with us. I promise nothing like this will happen again. Mrs. Victoria, for once, tried to persuade me with a gentle demeanor. Hearing these words, I wasn't just unmoved, I found it rather laughable. The calculation in her eyes was glaringly obvious. Now that she knew my family's background, she was suddenly pleasant to me. Before, she couldn't wait for her son and me to divorce. If she had said these things to me earlier, I might have even been happy. But now, I was utterly and completely disappointed in Marcus. No matter the time or the situation, whenever Chloe was involved, his heart would always completely side with her. No need. I have no connection to your family anymore. Whether there's any inappropriate relationship between your biological son and your adopted daughter, I don't care. These are your family's private matters. I came to the hospital to see Margaret, and I don't want your family to disturb me. Mrs. Victoria gritted her teeth, the muscles in her cheeks tensing. Grace, don't push your luck. My coming here personally to persuade you is already a sign of respect. I could tell you were a dishonest person from the start. All these years of marriage, you never once mentioned your family's situation. Our entire family was kept in the dark by you. And now you're even slandering my son? How can you be such a conniving woman? How could my son possibly have an inappropriate relationship with his adopted sister? Chapter 8. I stood there in silence, directly sending a few messages on my phone. Mrs. Victoria, seeing she couldn't persuade me, was so angry she was panting. Marcus also accused me at that moment. What you're doing is so disrespectful. No matter what, my mother is your elder, and you didn't say a single word back to her. How did your mother treat me? Do I need to list it for you? All these years of marriage, every time I visited her, she treated me like a servant. Before, when your whole family went on vacation, to stop me from going, your mother deliberately pretended to be sick, making me run back from the airport to get her medicine, and then your family secretly boarded the plane and went on your trip. You never considered me family, and your heart was always set on your sister. What kind of family is that? What kind of relatives are you? I poured out all the grievances I had suffered over the years, tearing away the family's facade. Chloe still tried to argue back then. That's nonsense. You're just jealous. There's nothing going on between my brother and me. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. Then, I pulled out my phone and played a video. The video showed Chloe hugging Marcus, even standing on her tiptoes to kiss him. Marcus, you're the only one I've ever loved. You promised me back then that as soon as Grace had a child, you'd divorce her, and we could live happily ever after as a family. But still hasn't had a baby after all these years. How much longer do I have to wait? The onlookers in the hospital gasped when they saw the video. Everyone exclaimed in shock. Oh my God, what a disgusting family. They stopped their biological son from being with his adopted sister for appearances, yet they still want to exploit her for a child. These two grew up together, and even without a blood relation, their intentions are quite sickening. Chloe's face turned ashen. Just as she tried to explain herself, a group of police officers arrived. Ms. Miller, we found that your mother's injury from falling debris wasn't an accident. It was intentional. With that, the officers took Chloe away. Because she was the one who paid someone to deliberately harm Margaret. Fortunately, the shopping area was busy and had surveillance cameras, so the people who threw the object were quick. Ly identified. Marcus and his family, witnessing this, still wanted me to plead for her. Grace, we've been married for so many years. Chloe is still just a child, and she just got confused for a moment. If she goes to jail, her life will be ruined. Please, just let her go. I forcefully pulled my hand away from his. Seeing his true colors, I felt even more disgusted. What 20-something is still considered a child? Since she committed a crime, she has to bear the consequences. She has to face everything that comes with it. If you think she's a child, tell that to the police. See if they agree. If they do and let her go, then I'll have nothing more to say. I had the hospital security guards escort the entire family out. I wanted no further involvement with them. A month later, Margaret's wounds had healed, and she was discharged from the hospital. I heard that Chloe was arrested and imprisoned for intentional harm. The scandal involving Marcus's family escalated online, causing their business to collapse. Neighbors gossiped and pointed fingers at them. The family felt too ashamed and moved out of the city. As I looked at the sunlight streaming in, I felt a sense of brightness and hope. No matter when or where, one should always stick to their principles and remain true to themselves. Only with a clear conscience can one truly go far in life. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.